Hey, we are back. Guess who's here, buddy?
Who, pray tell?
Guess who is otherwise known as kinesiology? We have Kennelia is back in the building, y'all.
Hi, guys. Hi.
Yes.
Oh
Our first show we did, just Buddy and I were here, and you were traveling,
Gone,
probably with a sugar daddy.
That was
and this is our co-host, and Kennelia, we missed you. How you doing?
I'm good. I was not with the sugar dad.
What's going on that end, yo? What's up? Because before we would talk about that all the time, like. What's going on there? What's with the hooks out there? What's going on?
I do. First of all, I do not date old men. Old men used to like me. Now they don't be hitting me up.
What?
You
Thank
need to
God.
fix your page. Fix your page.
No, I don't.
Yes,
I don't need that kind of energy.
Listen, let me.
I don't need no old man. I have a dad. I have a father.
I'm going to help you.
I don't have no
fix
daddy
your
issues.
page.
I have a father.
No, I'm gonna help you fix your page. There's something wrong with your page.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, how you know? You ain't even got your Instagram, so how you know what's wrong?
I
don't even have one.
Ouch.
Wait a
You
minute.
can't even log in to see what my
wait,
page
excuse
look
me,
like.
hold
How
on.
you gonna help?
Wait, you smell that? That's hate.
That's
I
hate.
smell it in the
a
air.
whole
It's
lot
the
of hate.
hate in the. Listen, I have been Instagram banned, but I'm gonna get my account back, or I'm gonna start a new one. You can believe that it's coming. Okay, I'm trying to go through protocols and get my account back. But yes,
How's that working for you?
It ain't working. It ain't.
Not working.
It ain't working.
Look, Kennelia, listen, okay, because Buddy and I, we always check in on you. We always, seeing what's going down. What? I mean, like, what's how you,
Her dating
your
is
flavor,
going down.
the flavor, like, because for a minute, you know what I'm saying, the older fellas was checking you out, you know what I'm saying, and you were saying earlier, you
All
was
up
like,
in Instagram.
they're not catching they don't
in
catch
the
what you're
DM.
throwing.
Yeah,
Like,
if you ain't
how
catch
does
the
somebody
vibes,
know
right?
though? Like,
Well, this is where I am now. One, I was dating. I've been in therapy for a good year plus consistently. And
that'll
I
help.
realized the reason I've been dating a certain type of man,
What's that?
they always at the end of the day needed help with something. And I realized I was attracting that type of person because I was wanting someone to help me as a child. I was trying to go back and resolve old stuff. So in turn, I'll be like, oh, let me help them because I wish somebody would have helped me. Now I've moved on from
Are
that.
you a Cancer?
I'm Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. Oh, she said that with disdain.
Cancer. So now I am available, but I'm not like on the apps or anything because that's exhausting. I don't have time to.
Because you tried that.
I tried it, and
point, right?
it kind of works.
Right.
It's just taxing, and after a while, you see the same old people on there,
Yeah,
and it just get old. So look, I'm out here. If y'all you catch the vibe, but you don't. Okay, you
What's
got
the
to
vibe
be
though? Like, is it like a subtle thing? Is it like, I'm laughing at your jokes? Is it like a touch? Like what
Honestly,
is it?
I don't know because I don't bump into nobody that I'm interested in anymore because now I do a lot of stuff remotely. So I'm at home a lot.
Right.
Or I'm doing stand up or I'm around entertainers. So when I am in places where those people aren't, where there's like a stranger men, then I'll do a little flirty, a little but if you ain't funny, I ain't laughing.
Right.
So I
Okay.
can't do that.
Okay.
But I try. But I'm not gonna be overly doing things. Like I have like my barber was saying something like, well, you gotta do like he was saying I had to do like stuff that I would not normally do, things that I don't necessarily like. I'm not gonna do nothing I don't like to attract somebody because I ain't gonna keep up to do that.
Right.
I'm gonna show you
That's
who I
true.
am. I'm not gonna be doing all this stuff and I don't even like doing it.
Right.
I'm not gonna be miserable with nobody.
Right. I hear you.
I agree.
But that's
What do you like to do?
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing.
I like karaoke.
okay.
I love wine and wine tasting.
a little drinky.
I like deep conversation.
Deep.
I love
boring.
like Chad. You have to be able to talk and have an opinion. You'd be surprised, buddy. A lot of people can't hold conversations, including you. No, so
No, that's important. No, that's very important.
Give me some more wine. I was.
buddy, shut up. But it's true. You got
Right.
to I'm not one of those people that I'm just not gonna sit on the couch and watch TV with you.
Right.
You
want
got
to
to have
talk.
something to say.
You want your mind stimulated.
What you got to say, buddy?
Right. And now we find that most of the Rufuses of the world, they stimulate your mind.
I'm not dating no old man. I won't say never, but if I have a father. Like, I ain't looking for a father figure. I got
Right.
one.
Okay.
Kenny at home. So
Okay.
I don't know know what to tell you.
Well, who was you trying to help? That's what I'm. You be going back to this therapy. Let's
Who's I trying to help? Think people. It's not. You don't know when you get in, start talking to somebody who they really are, but subconsciously you attract what it is that you feel, what you need at that moment. And I needed to help somebody and people.
Right.
So they will always be broken down, have some type of issues.
Maybe I need to go to therapy because I'm not attracting nothing.
See, y'all talking about me. That's the problem.
See, see, buddy. buddy.
You got a long side too. You
buddy. Yeah. Buddy.
What?
Yeah, I mean,
what are you saying, Flex? Let's get on in this, Flex.
No, I'll just say this from the the one interest that you had.
Oh, Flex, wait a minute, man. Come on, man.
I'm not saying that. It was a long time ago, but I was really hopeful for you, man.
No, you weren't. Y'all was rooting for the demise. My friends were haters. They were
what was it? Was she like? Because, buddy, you like them young, don't you?
No. That's not necessarily true. I like a look, but you don't have to be young.
What's the look? Young.
No, the look is fit. The look looks like my mama.
You want somebody to look at your mama?
My mama was fine as fuck. I tell you what.
Let's unpack this.
Listen, I saw pictures of my mama. And listen, I would have dated my mama if I didn't know her.
As a woman, when we hear men looking for their mama, that's a red flag for us.
Okay.
Because we can't live up to a standard or something.
I said looks. I didn't say be my mama. I said looks.
It's deep.
My mama looked like look. So I have a tendency to pick women that are fair, that are fit. That's just taller.
So light skinned.
It kind of
okay.
No, it's just my flavor. It's just it's and not that I wouldn't date chocolate Hershey Kiss looking sexy. Not that I wouldn't. It's just that
I don't.
But I haven't run into one that I just haven't run into one that I'm interested in yet.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like though, even if you did run into one, you wouldn't be because you locked into your type.
No,
you wouldn't even pursue it. Would you even pursue it?
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Well, look,
I just haven't. That's what I've gravitated toward.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I look at it like if you have a team, and you're trying to find a center,
right?
You look for big men,
right?
You're looking for the big man and you're in the middle. It's not that you wouldn't take someone smaller who can run the court and play and who's athletic and do all the other stuff. It's like, okay, I'm looking for Kareem. I'm looking for Shaq. I'm looking for the big man in the middle.
Well, don't box yourself out from everybody because at this age,
I don't want no guards.
No, but listen,
okay,
if your sample size is that small, you're limiting yourself to just that. Branch out and open that up.
I want women. That's
have
half the population.
And fit. Well, so if she's fit, what if she wants you to be as fit as her? Are you willing to do that?
Right. What if she says,
I try to work out.
Buddy.
I work out. Listen, I have a trainer right now.
Oh, good. Look
okay.
Don't
you drop that bomb. You drop that bomb.
Get that shit twisted. His name is Rolo.
Okay.
Rolo.
I know Rolo.
And Rolo. I gets it in. All right. He's Will Smith's trainer.
Oh, buddy got money now.
Okay.
Listen,
okay.
I'm just saying, if you open that up, don't block yourself into just one type.
Don't block yourself out for love.
I'm not blocking my blessing. I refuse to block my blessing. I'm not gonna block my blessing, Lord.
Are you looking to get married, or you just want companionship?
I don't know right now. That's an interesting question. I don't know. I think on my profile it says long-term relationship, but however, if that doesn't work out,
now,
couple of nights ago.
Now is this on brownsugar.com?
Nah, I ain't on Brown Sugar no more.
Get on Instagram.
I ain't on Sugar Daddy. I dropped my Sugar Daddy profile.
What's the other one?
That's a whole
Black
lot of
Planet. You on Black Planet?
No, I ain't on Black Planet. Dog. Wait a minute. Some of these websites. Listen, listen, Flex. Let me tell you something. Some of these websites that are like geared toward like.
Hit it and quit it.
Yeah. Some of them is hit it and quit it. And I mean, when I tell you some of them chicks on there are like, okay, did you just get out of prison? They got pictures. I know one girl had a picture on there. I swear had to have been a mugshot.
Oh man,
had to have been a mugshot.
Everybody need love. And they got phones in jail, so they be on the maps.
I'm not visiting nobody through no plexiglass.
That
it ain't
is
gonna
what's
happen.
tripping me out. I'm seeing on TikTok people, cats is posting up. They got profiles. I'm like, how are they getting phones?
They got phones
in prison?
Yeah.
That is
Prison.
the funniest thing to me.
That's
to see a dude
hilarious.
posing up in the playing checkers with the dudes.
They be going live. They be going
They
live.
go live.
Going live from
They
prison.
go live from prison. That's crazy.
They be going live. You saw
Oh my God.
Lunel flashed her titties for some dudes in prison, and they was like
Oh
on
my
Instagram. And yeah, she was like, "That's the least I could do." And they was like on live with her in jail.
Wow.
Who is this now?
Lunel,
You know Lunel crazy.
a couple
That's
some months
crazy.
ago.
That's crazy.
That is hysterical.
That's crazy.
Well, I'm gonna pray for you, buddy, in your love life. You pray for me as well, but I'm not like on the prowl. You either catch the vibes or you're not.
That's what I say.
all I got to
Catch
give.
it.
That's right.
Catch it.
Now, if y'all know somebody within the ages of maybe the mid, like 37 to around 45, that's available,
Okay.
healthy, healed, working on himself, has a career,
Okay.
you can feel
And-
free to, and he's attractive in some way.
And
Feel
good
free.
I don't know what
And good
attractive
credit.
is to you.
And good credit. Even if it's not the best, we can work on it.
Okay.
What about? Well, you see, let me see, but that's a problem a little bit because, pretty, good looking is subjective.
Oh no, most of my men have been ugly, so I'm not even like.
Okay.
He has to be attractive to me. in
Yeah, that's
some
what I
way.
said
You know,
because I could bring somebody. I got some frat brothers that would.
What?
I got some frat brothers, Kennelia, that would.
but I
that would
don't
like
really
you.
fool with the bros though.
You don't mess with the Qs? Okay,
Not
well
really.
then get your
They be
little.
wanting
See,
to hug
now
all
that
the
I know
time.
what you want.
They the most
You
where my
want-
hugging ass at,
you
where
want-
my hug at ass. Man, I can't.
You want them.
Shout out to the bros. I love the
You want
bros.
them new slash. You want them.
I do like the cap.
You like them Kappas. That's what I tell you, old
man, hold
pretty
on now,
ass
hold on now,
cane.
now. You gotta get right there with the chocolate
Them
and
scrolling,
the men about business.
scrolling
Them
ass
Sigmas,
Kappas.
man.
Yeah,
You gotta them Sigmas. Don't
We only had like 2 Sigmas at Hampton.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Joe and Joe. Shout out to the Joes, man. They were great. Fantastic
Yes.
brothers.
That's
Love 'em.
terrible.
We only had 2 though.
Blue fire, y'all. Blue fire.
Mm.
Speaking of trying to catch something, let's just get this out of the way with sports. My Dallas Cowboys
Went down. Down goes Dallas.
Ah.
Down goes
again
Dallas.
have lost again, one and done.
In the
I
most unusual way.
don't know what. Listen, let me tell you something.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. There was so much promise there.
You
So much promise there.
Was there?
No.
It really was.
No, it
I listen, I'm gonna tell you right now,
Mm-mm.
I just don't think right
So-
now Dak was ready for the bright lights right now. I just don't.
How long it's gonna take him? How
Yeah,
long
he's
he's
been
been
in the
with
league
the
Well,
team?
7
he
years.
was hurt
Been with the team for a
last
long
year. He
time.
was missed a year and a half, and
This is what, 7th year? 6th
is
year?
it 6th year, something like that?
Lights
It's
been
time.
on.
But I mean,
Brady
it-
won a
but
championship by the time he had been
But in
sitting
those
the league
times,
6
though,
years.
they were building a team, which we have a great defense, but just offensively. And listen, the play calling, I just got to say, it was atrocious. You set them up in a shotgun, every play. You run the ball, ground and pound. Like in that second quarter, going into the third quarter, they started to move the ball.
Dallas.
They
is not
started
Dallas
to
of the
move
90s,
the
bruh.
ball.
Dallas, they not the Dallas.
But they
of the
started to
90s.
move the ball.
That offensive line y'all had in the 1990s
Listen,
was all.
But did you
pro.
see in that second half
Larry
they started to
Allen
move
was
the
a
ball?
beast.
But did you see that when we went down and we scored? It still was not out of reach.
Even Romo was sitting in the booth talking about
Romo can't say nothing.
How trash
That-
y'all.
He can't say
Trash.
nothing. He is the trashiest of the trash.
Trash.
He can't say nothing. That dude has won nothing. He fumbled the field goal.
But wait, didn't they at least make it to the playoffs with Tony?
No,
They didn't make it to
it
the
was
playoffs
the
with Tony
game
either.
before that.
No, they never.
So
got
wait,
to
the last time they made
I
it was
think-
when Emmett when Emmett was still on the team.
Probably.
It's time for you to move on.
Probably.
They ain't them boys no
I've
more,
been diehard since
You,
77.
y'all still them boys? No,
I got to stick with my Cowboys.
you're no longer
man.
them boys.
I
No,
have
them
to
boys.
I have to stick with my Cowboys, man. I have
It's time to give it up.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but who's he's a Chicago Bears fan.
Wait a minute.
and
First of all,
So he has no say in this
Listen,
at all.
The Bears did decent, right? They were okay
What's
this year.
decent?
no, they were terrible.
They were terrible.
I'm thinking the Bulls. Never mind.
She said the Bulls.
I'm thinking the other Chicago.
Whole nother
No.
sport.
Whole nother sport, other Chicago
Right
team.
now.
But the
we
good
gonna-
thing is,
we
y'all
got
prospect to get either Jim Harbaugh, possibly.
hope not.
I would like to see y'all get the brother from Miami who they fired.
No,
I do. He's a great coach.
No,
he is.
I'm gonna tell you why I'm not down with anybody. I'm not down with anybody right now that's not a player performance builder. Right. Anybody that comes into Chicago right now cannot be the kind of person that has issues with the players. And that's why Brian Flores got. Now I understand why him and the quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, whatever his name, right. TT,
right.
He was mad at him because he felt like the guy wasn't serious about quarterbacking because he would play golf on his day off as opposed to coming in like Brady and Brady and Peyton Manning. They would come in and that's all they did was film study and they would take it, to spend extra time. It was Michael Jordan. I'm gonna practice and then spend another 2 hours in here shooting. He wasn't like that, and it made him mad, and so he would openly diss the dude in player meetings. And so when you have that kind of mentality where you win at all costs kind of thing, it's great when you have players that buy into it. And I think that was part of the problem with the Chicago coach before. He was killing his players because his own abilities were suspect. And so you project that onto the players because you're trash, and people aren't doing extra to help you, so they're trash. So I don't want anybody right now, anybody in Chicago that's coming in there needs to help.
He don't want it.
No.
Too deep.
No, I'm just saying.
Like Omar.
No. I'm gonna tell you who I'm looking at right now. Brian Leftwich is my guy.
What's his name?
Brian Leftwich.
It's Byron.
Byron. Did I say
he don't even know.
Byron.
Beggars can't be choosy. Okay,
No.
y'all
Byron
gonna get what y'all get.
Byron Leftwich is the person they really need to hire. You need to because he's won at all levels. Won 2 Super Bowls. He's a quarterback, helping a young quarterback, and he's an offensive guy who knows how to call plays.
Right.
So that's the kind of guy you need in Chicago right now.
Yeah.
Okay. You can hire a good defensive coordinator. They got a pretty decent guy in there now, but you could go and get Vic Fangio to come back, and man, Chicago would be a beast. So because we got pieces.
Yeah.
We got pieces.
Yeah. We got pieces too.
It sound like none of y'all the boys. That's what it sound like.
We got pieces.
Nobody is them boys.
Yeah, we got pieces.
You know what? Who's your little team?
I actually don't fool with the NFL no more.
Okay.
After Cap and after
Neil, so you was in your living room kneeling?
once I find out you doing people dirty, I'm kind of cool. And the fact that they just dishing out CTE and don't really care, and all of these black men are now walking around with brain damage and trauma and wreaking havoc on the communities. I just can't get behind it.
That's what my brother Maceo from what's the group's name? De La Soul. A good friend of mine, his son who played on the Rams is dealing with that now.
Really?
And there's been a big story about him reaching out to Michael Strahan and, him not getting back to him, and it became this thing that Michael Strahan is ignoring me because, protecting his own interest. But, Maceo came out, wrote a statement, said that is exactly not what I said. He said, I reached out to him. He said he would get back to me. I know he's been busy. He said, but in no way, shape, or form, because they were trying to, shape it to be something else. But the important subject of it is his son. He's dealing with severe CTE and having outbursts and just, up and down in mood. And it's a real thing. Like I've known, I was around, when his son was little. And so seeing this now is disheartening, man. And that's something that they have to look more into. Even Antonio Bryant. I mean, I think he's smart.
Antonio Brown, you mean?
Brown.
Yeah, okay.
Brown.
See, we all have
At least I was in the same family.
No, I was Byron is close to Brian. It's in the same, whatever.
Antonio,
Brown
is way off.
Brian.
And something earlier, he called my daughter Armani. And
he did say Armani.
Yeah. So, but no, it's definitely, I think it's a subject that the NFL hasn't, gotten into deep enough, and
they're not going to. The amount of once you admit fault or once you recognize or publicly say, yes, this is something that is affecting our players due to the sport that they play in the league, you are in some cases stating that you're at fault. And that payout and what comes with that is something that they cannot accept. Because literally, probably like 90% of them have some type of brain damage. Not to say they got an NFL, because if you've been playing since Pop Warner, you've got you getting bashed in the head since you're 4 or 5 years old. But the fact that you got 30-some-year-old men who now can't manage their emotions, are having outbursts, depression, physical assault, domestic violence, suicide, it's a problem. It's a problem.
It is.
Yeah, because they've taken the brains of some of these people who inevitably
like Junior Seau,
and
a few others,
Dave Dorison, and the most famous was Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah,
they said, man, when they looked at his brain, because I guess his family finally gave his brain to study, they said it looked like, the doctor said he had never seen like dents, and he had dents and little where the brain has been dead a little bit, where it's like it looked like little explosions all over here. I mean, pot marks of black pock marks all in front, everywhere where he had had a concussed, and that's why he stopped playing football. In his last few years, because he had severe concussions. Right.
And which obviously led to
his. And people want to say he was just violent, but I think Caruth and all them guys, they all had some problems, because this is just.
I mean, they likened it to literally a mini car crash.
Yep.
Every time you listen, I played football. I was a 3-sport athlete. I was a quarterback, wide receiver, and a cornerback.
That boy good.
All the black positions. You see how they do it? They put them in all the black positions.
Quarterback. I was leading. I got hit one good time.
Give him the running back spot too.
No, I didn't want him to running back. I got hit one good time. I caught a stinger one good time, and it went all the way down my neck. And for literally 5 seconds, I was stuck. That's when I switched to wide receiver, because I'd never been hit like that. I'll never forget the play. It was I left 34 fake. Boom. I go back, supposed to fake here to the eye back, turn, and little dump pass. Dude came, I dumped it. All I felt was just and just tingles. And I laid down. I was like, what in the and I did, after that I said no, I won't be wide receiver, or can I try cornerback? And then I was done.
And take that and do 25 years of that from age like 4 to 30 something. And I respect people. I respect athletes and people who played. I respect if you needed the sport to get out of your situation, to take care of your family. I respect people who just want to play football and they love the game. But again, somebody needs to be held accountable for the fact that they just getting to bash their heads up against each other in the NFL, acting like they don't know what's going on.
Right.
Because they literally like,
they need to update. They need to update the equipment and make changes in the way people can hit, and so
they call themselves doing that with now moving the kickoff is 15, 20 yards up now.
Those protocols return,
and then the helmets, I think they've changed aerodynamically. Some of
they changed designs. Them, and and people now when you get hit, and you dizzy, you don't get to just go back in the game. You gotta go and get checked. So they're doing things to try and minimize the because that was part of the problem. You get that was like that's that manhood thing. Can you go, champ? Yeah, coach, I'm seeing 3 of you, but I'm gonna get back on in there.
The whole brain damage.
How many fingers you got up? It looks like 10. All right, he's good.
Exactly. That was the mark of a man. How many fingers did he have up? I just had up 1. I didn't have my hand on. Yeah, that's a mark of a man. Is get back in there and tough it out. But it is it's sad to see, and I just again want to send love to my brother Maceo and his family, and just pray for his son, man, because it's tough. It's tough.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of sons, let's transition into another topic that relates to someone's actual child Flex brought up before we got on air, the case of Kendrick Johnson.
Yes.
He was, in 2013, he was the young man that was found rolled up inside of a gym mat head first.
Yeah.
And they were saying,
he was looking
authorities.
For his,
the authorities.
Yep, just like that. Like Flex said, he dove into the mat to retrieve his shoe and got stuck.
Yeah.
Now they reopened the case. They put the pressure back on it, and it's a documentary out that is speaking about it. That Jennifer Lewis is back in and narrated, so it picked up some more steam with that.
Yeah, it definitely. I watched that. I was shaking inside, and when it went back and retrieved all the real footage from what was edited by this man who was. Obviously, he was, employed by the Fed. I think it was FBI or something, former FBI, whatever. So they pulled out all the stops and edited the tape. So it just looked like he was walking by himself. But when they went back and you see that the son and the other guys walking literally behind him, following him, I'm like, how could any, district attorney or just not say, hey, this is a case, and bring out at least, an investigation. And this kid is off partying and has his life playing football, and he should be held accountable for that. They killed that boy. Let me not say it. They killed that young man. And every piece of footage that they went back and pieced together correctly shows this guy and the other guy following him into the gym.
The sad thing is too how natural and how easy it was for them to do that.
Yeah.
Who else did that happen to? Let's think about Ahmaud Arbery, right? We just saw the trial against the man who killed Ahmaud Arbery. In case y'all don't remember, he was the one who was jogging, and then the three white dudes decided that they was just gonna chase him and then shoot him.
Right.
If one of the men involved in the case didn't leak the footage himself, we, the public, would not have even saw it.
Right.
He blasted the footage in order to say.
Wasn't it was the father and son, but the other guy
was following.
Was a neighbor or something.
The other guy jumped in and filmed it and helped to corner the situation.
Right. Yeah. He I think, as a matter of fact, the guy that was filming was the one who called the other two to go, hey, this same guy or this guy is running through the neighborhood. Let's get at him. But he that truck with the father and the son, they rushed ahead to entrap the guy. And it's sad because you say if this fool, I mean really, and that's all I can say. This fool videotaped him thinking that he's showing. This is how crazy he was saying that I took this video footage to protect myself.
Right.
Like we're doing something, I'm gonna have proof that we did the right thing. Yeah. And the right thing was killing this guy.
Yeah.
And now the audacity, this was the one that thing got me. The guy was basically like, he shouldn't have fought for the gun. He grabbed my gun. That's why. So I'm like, what?
And the police on the scene, all of the law enforcement, everybody involved was like, oh no, it's justified. Let's move on.
Right.
It was a month or two. I don't know the correct time frame until they reopened the case. So if we would not have ever found out about it,
right,
it would have been what it was.
And they even fired and I think she's being disbarred. Is the district attorney?
They put her up on charges.
Yeah, they brought her up on charges for being basically being negligent and not doing her civil duty to pursue a case because she wasn't even going to charge the guys because, as a matter of fact, the father was a police officer that she had previous encounters with similar sort of issues. He had been, violent before and dismissed cases and whatnot that this guy was involved in. So they were in, they were in cahoots together, basically.
They need to open up all her cases.
All of them.
They need to reopen.
And then the female officer, I remember on film, her saying, as I watched the special, I think it was on CNN, and she walks up to him and is just like, oh, she's apologizing to the son. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, why don't you go get cleaned up? And I'm like, what? Go get cleaned up?
You murder somebody.
How many other times has that happened in that district? Yeah. That's what they open up her cases.
That's scary. And let's just take that, not just in that area in Georgia, but let's just take that across the country. How many times has this happened to African American or brown people, and I this is something else that doesn't get discussed either. It's not just black men; it's black women. Black women are even more subject to overpowering dominance by police. And we don't really talk about it. We only seem to have this issue with like black men, but women are even more abused by police. And so we don't really discuss that, but it's an issue across the country. And it needs to be addressed. I haven't seen that video. It's on my to be watched list. I think I'm gonna get into that.
You have to.
Where is it on Amazon?
I watched it on iTunes Movies. I bought it on there because I definitely want to support it. But now I'm sure it's probably either on Amazon now.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
But initially it came out. I think it was on. I don't know what it initially was on. Hulu, one of those. But yeah, I was reading also today too. I forget the name of the cop who just got locked up 3 years ago and was released after killing another young man, and he got released. I can't remember his name. I can't remember, but it is a perpetual, it's like a wheel that just keeps turning, and it's like when, and people want us to stop and say we're complaining and why don't you just get over it? It's like you can't get over it when this continues to go on and on and on. And then I'm watching the documentary Let Them See, I believe that's what it's called, on Hulu, about the Emmett Till's mother, and watching what she went through and actually seeing her, because I think what happens when we see pictures, and even like with pictures of Dr. Martin Luther King, with this being this national holiday, you see pictures in black and white, and it does something here to say, oh, that was so long ago.
Right.
Bro.
It doesn't matter. It was so long ago. And looking at pictures of Emmett Till, oh, that was so long. But seeing her talk, seeing her alive and moving and saying, yo, my son. And this woman, Carolyn Bryant, who's still alive, who admittedly said that she made it up. She made it up and said that he came in the store, and when she went to give him the change back, this 14-year-old boy grabbed her hand and was like, yeah, I've had women like you up north before. And then she said he grabbed her by the waist and pulled her closer to him. And this is all over while she's giving him change. And then other people who had gone in that store said it was about 3 feet of space in that store with all the junk and all the stuff. His cousin had gone with him. And it incenses me that this woman is free, and she, admitted that it was a lie. Her husband and her husband's brother, came to Emmett Till's uncle's house at 2:30 in the morning, came in there, got him, took him out.
Right.
Like, this is Money, Mississippi, where you can do whatever. Went in, got him out, took him. Nobody saw him again until he was found in the Tallahatchie River floating. Man,
and I'm going to tell you something. That case, my mom's from Knoxville, Tennessee. And I used to go to Tennessee in the summers. My mother would send me down to Tennessee in the summers to stay with my aunt. And this is one of the scariest things. I never forget it. We played baseball in the summer. I played baseball, and there were some kids across. You know how you get when you go to your grandma's house. You know the kids from across the street. You all start playing together. Well, we went and got ice cream, and I remember opening the door of the ice cream parlor for this woman, and I said, hello. And I was just a kid, I'm sitting around whistling and, I'm like, oh, hey, hello, ma'am. I'm just opening the door. Man, these Negroes that I was with lost their mind. They rushed me like back home. Wow. And the dude from across the street, it's Mr. Whaley, came across the street, and him and his wife, and they were like upset. With my aunt, like, you better teach this little nigga, you think you're gonna get my boys killed and you're gonna get his ass killed. They were, because they thought I had whistled and been fresh with this white woman.
Right.
And all I did, I'm from Gary, Indiana. You spit. My pastor was white. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I think white people are cool. For all I know,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know, and I had to learn the story of Emmett Till.
Yeah. Him being from Chicago, right next door.
I learned about that. In Tennessee.
Yeah.
And it never, and to this very day, I'm like, when I go to Knoxville, Tennessee, I'm always like, you're in defense, you're on the, and it's a psychosis that Black people have, man. You're always on defense.
Yeah.
With like, anything could happen to you by being nice.
Yeah.
Or even just living.
Just
living. And it's unfortunate because then that grows the child up too soon or early. You're not allowed to be a child.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have a good time or, open up the door or smile. If you don't step off the curb, you could die. Like you legitimately had to step off the curb if there was a white person walking. And if not, that person can be like, oh, you disrespected me, hang him, and you're dead. Toast.
And his mother had given him, she had literally, because he had begged to be able to go down to Money, Mississippi with his cousin, who they were close. And she told him, you see these white folks, you don't say nothing. Yes, sir. No, sir. Get out the way. Like, so she had to prepare him for that to still happen. And then to see just the town and it was obvious that, her husband and the brother came and it basically kidnapped him.
Right.
So when they went on trial, the uncle, who was the one that they came to his house, and he got up, he was not scared. He said that man came in my house and so forth and so on. And there was another witness, a young kid who came forth later, surprise witness who came and said he saw when the truck was driving and Emmett was on the back, and they took the truck, and then he ended up going up the road, following to the barn. And then he said there were 2 Black men with them. And the woman's husband, basically this Black dude was his muscle, or was like, he told him what to do. So this brother, and I just found this out, I never knew this, they were involved as well in the death of Emmett Till.
And the sad thing is, if they would have went the other way, they would have been dead too.
And that's the thing they were saying. At that time, you had to do what you were told, or it was you and your family that would be in jeopardy. And to see, this judge just was like, okay, they, not guilty. And the judge pretty much was like, and the sheriff there had so much power because there were 2 other guys who knew what happened. But what he did was he locked them up and put them in jail under different names so they couldn't be found to go and be witnesses for Mrs. Till.
Wow.
And they got away off that charge, the murder charge. They tried to say that wasn't Emmett Till because he was so badly disfigured, as we all saw, but he had a ring on. It was his father's, because he was named after his father. And then the ring said LT. It was for Lewis Tillman. And his father's name was Lewis Tillman. He had the ring on, and that's how they identified. And then when she saw his body, she knew certain points on his body, so she knew it was him.
Right.
So they get away with that. So then they try to come back on the kidnapping charge. So what happened was Emmett Till's father, when he was in the service, was off. He was off. Him and his buddies were off. This white woman gets raped, and they get blamed for it. He didn't do it. He was completely innocent. Got blamed for it. And in that time in the service, they basically, sentenced him to death, hanging. So he got hung for something he didn't do. So the governor of Mississippi ordered that those records be released of that charge so that it would look like, oh, well, his father did it, so it runs in the family. So Emmett did the same thing, and that's why So they never were able to even try them or have a case, on kidnapping, which he kidnapped them.
You kidnap somebody out of there. When you
Yeah.
grab somebody against their will out of there, from their
From
home,
their home.
or from anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
When you hold people again, I mean, that quiet as it's kept. That's what one of the charges OJ got. He was, they charged him with kidnapping because
Yeah.
the people couldn't leave. They were in
Yeah.
their hotel room.
Yeah.
So I mean, the law is twisted, crazy, and bizarre sometimes when it's used to exonerate people who are doing wrong and put people to death that have done no wrong. It makes no sense sometimes. It's senseless. Because I'm telling you, like, it's just like with these people and this right now. I don't. Talking about stuff that's wrong. I'm trying to figure out how insurrectionists aren't being labeled as traitors.
Cause you know why.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
And why would they be labeled as traitors when we actually have people who still support the Confederacy who aren't openly calling them traitors?
They were traitors to the country.
There's no community consequence for wrongdoing. The people always get this example. When you go to Germany and you don't see like Nazi statues, you don't see Nazi flags, you don't see any of that. Why? Because there was a reckoning. You don't get to publicly support this. Otherwise, you will be banished. That didn't happen here. We have somehow romanticized what the Confederacy was and have decided that, no, they weren't traitors. They were just people sticking up for themselves and we got a right to be Southerners. Yeah. No, that's not what it was.
Right.
They were traitors. So if they weren't held accountable, they literally got to go back to the South, got to be paid out for damaged lands, for
slaves. They got paid. They got
enslaved people who
white folks got reparations.
They got to continue to move on with their lives, and they got to just go about their business without any consequence.
Yeah.
Why would they feel like there's a consequence now?
But
there are none.
But you know that
if those were some Black Lives Matter protesters, we still be cleaning blood off the steps of that Capitol building.
But you know that they were saying, and I guess it was proven at some point, it still didn't happen, that there were people inside that had a helping hand in that.
And first of all, a congressman opened one of the doors for him.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
So there was I can't remember the name of the congressman, but he basically opened the back door to the Capitol to let the rioters in. It's like, dude, you're a traitor.
I'm trying to figure out what was the end goal, because obviously it didn't go however they wanted to go. What was the end goal? What was
stopping Mike Pence from certifying the election? And Mike, and as much as I despise Mike Pence because he was the governor of Indiana, and as much as I despise him and his policies, he basically did the right thing. He was like, I cannot not certify the election. What they were trying to do was prevent Congress from certifying the election, which would have thrown, if Mike Pence had said, okay, we're going to allow all of these states to not certify the electors, we can send everyone back to the state to recertify the election with their own electors.
Right.
And so that would have then thrown the whole election into Congress, which was run by the Republicans, who could then pick the president.
Right.
And they can say, hey, we want Donald Trump.
Right.
He won.
Right.
And it was a people always talk about conspiracies. And this is one thing interesting about conspiracies, is that they aren't conspiracies after they're put into the open. You know, it's no longer. This was a open, like, now we can see this was a effort. They tried to overthrow the government.
It was a coup d'etat.
And I mean, from the president on down to all of his cronies, Giuliani and Bannon, and all of these guys were part of a coup to destroy. I mean, literally, we were a moment away from this country being destroyed, and people aren't really talking about that.
Yeah,
we're like, and what angers me more than anything else is that there are 50 Republican senators that and I think only like 7 of them are even thought that this was something serious. I mean, it's like, bro, it's like, don't worry about it.
Or do they not think it's something serious, or do they have to keep perpetuating that narrative? They can't go against it at this point. They in too deep. Once you get locked once you have seen other people get banished from their group for stepping out and speaking out, you're going to keep your mouth closed, because guess what? Everybody trying to pay their own bills. Everybody trying to keep their own livelihood going. They don't want to get ousted from the inner circle. So they know what happened. They know what was wrong. Some of them don't think it was wrong, but they know what the perception is.
All of them said it was wrong in the beginning. McConnell, McCarthy, what's the one from Utah? What's his name? The one that ran for president.
From Utah?
Yeah, the senator. Daddy was governor in Michigan. What's his name? Romney.
Oh.
All of them people said it was wrong.
Well, they don't fool with Romney no more anyway.
But he's safe in Utah, and the Mormons are not going to vote for nobody else.
I mean, his own party members. They mad at Romney still.
Listen, his name is Mitt.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I gotta say.
They still consider Mitt Romney.
All I'm saying is that, this is the way I feel about it. They're all cowards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they care.
They're cowards, and
they don't care because they still winning. That's the thing. You don't care if people think you a coward if you winning. Because at the end of the day, you either the winner or you the loser.
Mm-hmm. That's why I don't
history
like
gonna
Belichick.
write itself, but they're not gonna care when history is written. They're not gonna be around even care or to even see it.
That's why I don't like the New England
What's
Patriots.
the song they said? Somebody's
cheaters.
gotta win, somebody's gotta lose.
Right. Hey, listen, man. What's the old saying? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying to win. But they're cheaters. And that's why, listen.
Well, he just had his rally.
Who?
Trump had the first rally.
For what?
He said to save America.
From what? Him?
That's his new campaign. Save America.
Man, I tell you, man, that dude is the biggest huckster, bro. He's the worst.
They like it. He represents the fear in this country. It is all about, and it's people think that, well, it's not think. It's a fact that by a certain year, white people will be the minority. We know that. That is a fact. That's coming whatever you do or not. So he is speaking this rhetoric of, basically, we got to fight. It's us. They trying to take everything from us, lock the border down, stop abortions. Let's do all of this stuff to combat what is going to happen anyway.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The shift of the dynamic between ethnicities. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate that we always get the brunt of it, and we the smallest minority. Mm-hmm. It's the Hispanic Latino population that's coming for the ass. It ain't even us. We're just the loudest.
Baby at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it's about. That's why they're like, take back America. Who y'all think they taking it back from?
Taking it from who?
From who? And none of the groups are indigenous or aboriginal to this land.
They don't know that. Most Americans don't know that.
They don't know that.
They literally don't.
It's our country. It's our country.
They don't know that.
You shut your pie hole, Flex. You don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Flex.
Listen,
my daddy and my daddy's daddy were in this country.
My daddy and my auntie were lovers. No. Listen, if you like all of us are in this country, you got a social security number, you get your bills in all caps letters, you have a straw man. That's a whole nother conversation. That's not conspiracy. That's fact. That's how it's set up. That's why your bills come in a all caps name. Is separate from the living soul, flesh and blood person. And so ain't none of us out here fighting, talking about Constitution. It's when you go into a court, you go into a federal building, and you see the flag with the gold shingle. That's a whole different set of rules. That's Admiralty law. It's totally different.
But that's not what they have been sold. I was in a comedy club this weekend, and this white comic, he said, and he was really honest. He said, I'm starting to think that we as Americans have been sold a bill of goods. And I looked at him and I said, you just now getting to that? And he was like, he looked shocked that I asked him. He was like, yeah. And I was like, you literally are just now getting here. He was like, yeah. But again, because the Constitution, all that people literally have been felt like they've been protected by this because, in a sense, they have been. We have not been.
Exactly.
Because we are not naturalized citizens. It said even when Dred Scott went to court to fight the Supreme Court, that descendants of slaves could not be naturalized citizens.
Right.
Period. Black is not a nationality. It's not an ethnicity. Black in court in Latin means civiliter mortis, means civilly dead. That's why we can go to court and scream and kick all we want. It don't matter. We are civilly dead in the eyes of the law. Period. You know, and we fighting. So yeah, black man, we're Aboriginal.
That's why people feel like they can storm the Capitol. They feel like because they can't, like, they literally can do that. Like, so, like, I don't. Us being upset about it at this point, we just making ourselves mad. Like the laws, we know the laws were not designed with us in mind
at all.
We do need to get on the same page as Black people and decide what it is that what we want and what we are going to do about it. But that's a conversation that we ain't having amongst ourselves because we all got different things that
we got
that are focused. No, we just focused on a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Versus back in the day, none of us, we all was struggling to vote. We all was at the back of the bus. Even if you was up north, you still getting crapped on. So we don't have that common denominator anymore.
And even Martin Luther King said, listen, I fear I have led my people into a burning house.
Right.
He realized it at the end. Oh my God. It was a mistake. You know, and you look at even what was the big case? The Kyle Rittenhouse, you know, people say, we honestly didn't have no skin in the game.
Right.
Honestly.
None.
At all. And we're being outraged. I'm like, listen, it was terrible. Anybody, you know, had to lose their life. You know what I mean? But they did them like they did us. This guy was a pedophile. This guy was a criminal record. That's like, it had nothing to do with it. This kid killed these people. You know what I mean? Went across state lines. Mother took him there.
With a gun.
With a gun. She was never brought up on any charges. She drove him there. I'm like, if that had been Tyrone, listen.
But again, we knew that.
Yeah, we
knew.
that.
They've been allowed to do this since the beginning. Think about slavery and slave patrols, right? Slave patrols were the first iteration of the police force. We know that. But why were slave patrols put into place? Because people didn't run away every day. It had to give the people with no money and who could not afford actual slaves and who had no stake in it. It had to give them a part of the project so they can feel like they were empowered in some way. So they were like, yeah, we were going to protect our civil rights. Yeah, let's wreak havoc. Yeah. They have been allowed to do these things. They were allowed to do these things and wreak havoc and bring guns and drive and torture and terrorize. Kyle Rittenhouse, he was allowed to be driven, dropped off. You standing in front of a TJ Maxx with a gun for what? Stay at home and play the game. Yeah. Get on PlayStation. You don't need to be out here. But again, when they saw that, they were like, oh, he felt like he needed to protect the community.
And I'm like, first of all, seeing what's sad about that is we all talk about how kids' brains aren't developed.
Yeah.
That's true. Not till you're 25. That's
25. Yeah. Why would you let this brain dead fool?
Yeah.
Why would you drop him off with a gun in a riot? To do anything, bring your stupid ass home.
Exactly.
Well, his mama probably. Well, and that's just like the young boy in Michigan who shot up the school. His parents bought him the gun. They went on the run because they didn't want to go to get locked up.
And then they texted him. I think they're coming for you.
Run, mama!
Like,
run for it!
Pull it out. Like, people, listen. It's just.
Can you imagine? How you gonna be with your kid though? That's kind of funny when you go to court. You know, where were y'all going?
Exactly.
Y'all just gonna leave me?
Yeah.
Yes, they were going to leave him.
You shot up a school. We were trying to get up on out of here, pimp.
Yeah. Fend for yourself.
Yeah, fend for your daddy. We were out. Listen, we would have got away if your punk ass had text me.
Fend for yourself. And these things right here, these are the things that these and so many more things are. It's areas that us as stand-up comedians, you know, you can't even talk about anymore because of cancel culture or
you get banned off of IG.
Yeah, you like I'm like, what
What
is happening?
Well, can you not talk about it, or do you just have to find a different way to talk about it?
How can you really get to the meat of it? Like you can flip and try to reverse and say this. Is the point still as strong? Because now you diluted it. You know
I feel like
you
can. I feel like you just can't use terms that are derogatory to certain communities. But
Like
you can
what?
still talk about like anything that is disrespectful
Go
to
ahead.
Black
All right.
people,
So
anything
let's
that's
play.
derogatory to the
Pretend
LGBTQ
you're
plus community.
commenting on my page. I'm a nationalist insurrectionist.
No, but we're not talking about Instagram. We're talking about on stage.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm talking about stage.
Okay.
Like, because you'll go.
Okay.
Because I've gone to the shows and you say something and you hear all of a sudden, and it's not even so much the comedians you hear. It's like you ever see, you say a joke,
they lock up.
What is going on?
Listen, I'm full throttle though.
Oh no, this dude here.
I'm full throttle.
And you just got to, again, it was always the case. You got to find your crowd. You just got to find your audience. Now, again, don't be up there. Some people are purposely trying to be like shock jocks.
Right.
They trying to throw everything out for the sake of like shocking the crowd.
Yeah.
If that's your brand, you're going to suffer.
No. But I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to get on in there. Go
on, Mr. Shut Down IG.
Obviously. I'm on in there, pimp. Because you know what? I want to be. I want to continue to be able to speak truth to power, my way.
Yeah.
You know, and so I know my limits. You know, there's some things I cannot say. You know, I know there are some things I cannot. There are some places you cannot go as a comic, but I'm going to try to get. I'm going to try to get right on the water's edge. I want.
You do. You do. That's for sure. You get right at the tank.
I want to be right on the tank.
Get right to the tank.
Look, if you got something to say and you want to talk about a topic, then I think to me it's shifted where it's not that we can't say anything. You just got to be a little more masterful how you get it out.
You got to be a little bit more crap. You got to be a wordsmith.
You got to be a little masterful.
It just shouldn't have to be
and
that
if you take the L or you bite the bullet, you just got to bite it.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you,
without being disrespectful. If you're purposely trying to be disrespectful, then you got to get out of here.
And
you got to get up out of here.
This leads back to the conversation that was happening a few months ago with Dave Chappelle. You know, and how there are subjects. You know, there are subjects where you have to be you tread lightly. You know, and because everybody is woke and sensitive, and I'm gonna tell you, man, I saw it in my own house, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. It's my daughter's part of this woke, you know, generation, man, and so
this generation is internet woke.
They're not. And I was like, woke. You know, they're not woke. That's what I was trying to explain to my daughter. I was like, you think you are being woke. I was like, you didn't live in Gary, Indiana when, you know, there were certain parts of town you couldn't go in. Mm-hmm. You know, you couldn't go to the library. You know, you couldn't go to certain swimming pools. You know, I mean, you don't know what that's about. Mm-hmm. You know, you have white friends and, you know, all the white folks moved out of my neighborhood when we moved in. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you don't, but, you know, she was trying to teach me about the they and the synonym, the pronouns, and I was like, okay, you know what? And I did this comedically. She got mad at me. I was like, okay, so they want to be called pronouns. I said, so we supposed to mess up 150 years of English verb. The verb to be is now ruined. Now, okay, well, where is they going?
Mm-hmm. I mean, but look, if people want to be called us whatever, that's not hurting us. It's not really hurt. And this is what's going to happen, because if you talk to like younger kids, high school and below, they flexing the pronoun. They got no problem with it. They learn it. They go to school with different people, different types. It's going to be the point where they are more advanced in communicating to the current times than we are. And we going to be them little grouches sitting at the house like, I don't know what you call.
Yeah, exactly.
We going to get outpaced.
Right.
Whether you believe in what is happening or not. But look, let people call people what they want to be called. It ain't hurting nobody.
Exactly.
My brother, God rest his soul, now will be, I guess, in the they category. I grew up, with a gay brother.
Or maybe not, because just as you gay don't mean you want to be called they. It's
right. True,
if you're like non-binary. If you're non-binary, yeah.
But he, a beautiful soul, man, and I watched his torment was different. It was a different torment. It was just being accepted or, teased or, but for something that he couldn't help, something that where an uncle had, done things when he was younger, something he couldn't help, it happened. And that's, what ended up being the result of it. And I just watched him throughout his life, be tormented by that. And so when I, hear all this, like, I know he wouldn't have been offended, by Dave Chappelle. I know I wasn't, but again, I'm not in that community, but I understand that community because it was in my home. I grew up with it. So it's always interesting, it's always interesting. I just think it's a big bowl of understanding.
That's all it is. You just got to understand. And if you don't, just know what square you standing on. If you're going to stand on the square of purposely not adjusting, then you're going to have to stick with that. Wherever you land, you better land on it.
Yeah,
because it's going.
You stand your ground.
You have to speak to it.
Yeah, because and this is the one thing I think that people don't want to address is everybody's family got fruit on their family tree, and they need to let it go. I'm just saying you can't dismiss that as all that. I mean, because people want to ignore it. Listen, bro, you probably don't even know it, but your dad, mom, cousin, brother, somebody's got somebody in their family that's part of the community that is represented by the alphabet. You get with the program, bro. Yeah, get with the program, because I know it's in my family.
And I think it's generational again, because you find maybe from age maybe 40 and under, we don't care. Yeah, it's the elders who still hold on to that stigma, because at this point we've been to school with people in the LGBTQ plus community. We have close friends. Even if you don't, you see the chatter on social media. You are and you're accessible to someone in that community. So it's not. It's just a certain type of person or certain groups that still hold on to that
and
false
I don't
reality.
care what you doing. Who you gonna be?
It's like it's just like you're saying about family members. It's just like mental health and having back when we were growing up, it was just like, oh, that's Uncle Ray. He just talking to himself, and they stick him in the basement. But no one ever takes the time to say, let's find out what's going on. Right. Let's for our community, it was take him to church. That's going to be the answer. And then church turns their back and say, oh,
mental health is the issue we do not deal with
at all. And I'm talking about, I deal with a mother who was diagnosed mild schizophrenic, and it's an up and down battle. It's up and down. My brother and my eldest brother has taken on the lion's share of really her care and her living with him. But she comes to visit me. She visits my sister, and we all have our own individual experiences. But no one understands what that takes. No one talks about that. And I think if there's any subject we need to talk about, is mental health in our community, because it is not, I'm telling you, it is one of the toughest areas, one of the toughest things I've ever dealt with, and watching it progress as she gets older. She'll be 80, and she still gets around but she has her moments. And this is a woman who's she's so tired of the medication. she's taking the medication, then she's taking another medication for the side effects, and then she's taking another medication for the side effects of the first medication.
Right.
And we have to get to a place where we either find homeopathic, ways to deal with it. And more than just, I've sat in with her, with the psychotherapist. She just listens to her, okay, and just boom, automatically, prescription. That's it.
Get her a new doctor.
Yeah, and that has to, she done been to 2-3 different doctors.
Yeah.
And that has to change in our country, in our world. That has to change. And that's,
I just want to say though, my mother was had dementia. She, onset dementia before she passed. She passed a year before last. I was. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap after this.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, you have to be careful with that dementia. You got to be careful because what I didn't want to do is for it to come out and you start finding out stuff. Yeah. That you don't want to hear, like, yeah, me and Robert was in that closet. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What the hell, mama? What's going on? That bullet. Your daddy ain't your daddy. Wait a minute.
That is funny, man. But yeah, man, it's not an easy thing, man. And yeah, it's not an easy thing, but hey, kudos to you because I know that was a big deal for you and you being there and for your mom. That is definitely
love my mama. That's why I like the women.
Oh God.
Well, buddy, we're gonna have to unpack that because if you're only targeting women that look like your mama, then that's creepy.
My mama looked like Dorothy Dandridge. That's why I'll show you a picture of my mama.
Oh, I know, but it's something that you gotta dig into that.
We're gonna have to deal with that on the next
if I did
episode.
Man, and he told me I only date women who look like my mama, I'm be like, where the flag at? Red.
Maybe you look like his mama.
I know I like women who look like my mama.
I didn't say. I said that's been my preference. I didn't say they have to look like my mama.
Oh, jeez. Oh my God. All right. Anyway,
crazy. You taking this all out of you know what? You are all out of context right now. And I don't like your tone.
Buddy, where
can
people find you? Obviously, they can't find
I'll
you
be at my
Instagram.
house. That's where they're gonna
Where
find
can
me.
they find you on social media?
Twitter, Buddy Lewis Jokes, and Facebook, Buddy Lewis Jokes, or Rolling Buddy Lewis on Facebook. That's it right now.
You still got MySpace, right?
Of course he does.
Kennelia, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Kennelia. You can also listen to, I have a podcast, Black News. It's on all apps or platform where podcasts can be heard. And that's where you can find me. I'll be on stage. Check my website, Kennelia.com.
Give me the spelling of your name.
Kennelia, like Kenny and Ophelia.
See, that her mama and daddy, they just ghetto love. So we're
That's
gonna
exactly
create
what
this
it was.
name.
That's exactly what happened.
And you can follow me at FlexA4Real on Instagram, on I'm not on Twitter anymore. On TikTok. On TikTok. No, I got logged out, forgot my password, and I just didn't have the desire. Twitter's mean. But Instagram, TikTok, and FlexA4Real, and on Facebook, I am Flex Alexander. Yeah, I'm not on anything else. Yeah, that's it. Well, anyway, the Flex Zone, you will see us also on YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Go to our YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you again next week right here on the Flex Zone. All in. This is our theme music.
That's it. Oh, we might have to get somebody to come in and do some music for us.